What's up YouTube, Play Matter here, and today I'm bringing you part 1 of my new segment, how to build your side deck. Tip number 1 is have yourself a database and keep adding to it and keep cards from older formats that may or may not be still relevant, because you don't know when all of a sudden they'll be really good against a new deck again. Like, I've still got Jurek Guiber on mine, and it can be really fun to readdress these side deck cards and play around with them in your locals. And sometimes you'll actually find like some cards are just incredible, and you found a side deck card that you really want to play for a primary event. So yeah, have a database. So the next few questions are all kind of based around when you want to add a card to your side deck. You have to kind of criticize it with these sort of questions. How well does that card work with my own strategy? So cards like Thunder King Ryo can work really well with your own strategy. If you don't search too much and you run lights, or any support for lights, or light and dark, so chaos, then it can be really good, or even just level 4s and rank 4s. So it actually works with your deck way better than a lot of side deck cards do, like Floodgates. They don't actually really do anything with the rest of the cards in your deck. Floodgates don't tend to be searchable. They don't tend to be have any kind of synergy or combination with other cards in your deck, other than just lockdowns and being Floodgates. So yeah, cards like Thunder King and other monsters in particular that have levels and types and attack points, I do like siding monsters that have good synergy with the actual deck itself. So obviously the next question is, how much does that card hurt my deck? Now there's a lot of cards that don't have any synergy with your deck or hurt your own deck, and they're all fine to have in your side deck. But when it comes to cards that hurt your own deck, you have to be really careful whether or not you choose to side them. Dimensional Fissure in Satellarknights is a really good example of this. A lot of people were playing it at first because of just how good it is against things like Shadows and Burning Abyss, and then it turned out that Satellarknight often lost to that card themselves. They have Denebs, they had triple Soul Charge, they want to have things in their graveyard. They don't want to have Dimensional Fissure face up on the field any more than Burning Abyss or Shadows do. And when it comes to asking yourself the question, can my deck actually lose because I've sided this card in? If the answer is yes at all, I'd just say straight away, don't side that card. There are other cards that hurt your own deck, things like Vanity's Emptiness, things like Vanity's Fiend, Majesty's Fiend. They're great while they're on your side of the field, but they also stop you from being able to do anything really yourself. And this brings me on to my final question, which is, how much does this card hurt the deck I want to side it against? So of course, first you need to decide which decks am I going to bring this card in against. So let's talk about Maxi. Let's say you've decided that Maxi is really good against Burning Abyss. It stops them from making their ranks or gives you a +1, so you have 100% sided in 3 Maxi against Burning Abyss. What happens when you come up, you've got 3 Maxi in your side deck, and you come up against Shadol, you come against Cliffort, and you've got 3 Maxi sitting there in your side deck? Do you choose to bring one of them or 2 of them in, because those decks do special summon? I think what you've got to consider is, does this card stop those decks from achieving their main goals? And I think the answer to that is no. With those 2 decks in particular, they only special summon like once a turn anyway, and if they are going to special summon a lot, but you do drop a Maxi, both decks find it completely fine to just stop and attack with whatever they've got and end their turn. So Maxi doesn't actually debilitate them in the same way that Burning Abyss quite easily goes into Dante and Virgil, or 2 rank 3s in a single turn, no problem whatsoever. So if you play Maxi on their first special summon from hand or their tour guide, they're just not going to do 2 ranks or a rank and a Virgil, or they're not going to go for all the special summoning that they could then do. And if they do, then you get a plus off it, so it doesn't matter. So there's definitely a pitfall of siding in cards that just are really lackluster against a deck when they're specifically in your side deck for a completely different deck. So yeah, cards that work for multiple decks that you want to side them in against are great. But yeah, I'll be talking about that more with my next video, which is going to be about using your 15 card side deck efficiently and siding in and out the right amount of cards when you are siding. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please do give us a great big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so that you can see the other videos in this new segment about how to build your side deck. Until next time, Play Matter signing out.